as well as the program organizer. Just an half an hour, we can share what we have been seeing, because it is a new novel coronavirus. What I have been noticed from the past first wave to second wave, there are a lot of transmissions. So the second wave is highly contagious and highly infectious. So it is a 14 days disease program. So you can notice so many patients. Once we get contract with the COVID, I just wanted to brief how this process pathology happens inside the body. So after contracting the COVID, it will take 2 to 3 days or 5 days for the incubation period for the patient to get symptoms, fever or body pain or recurrent cough, and even conjunctivitis, fatigue, and now current symptoms, diarrhea. So the patients acquired symptoms, they have been approached to the screening centers, COVID screening centers in government hospitals and private setups. So they are segregating into mild, moderate, and severe. So mild cases advised for home quarantine. So they does not need any physiotherapy intervention. They need appropriate medical advice and isolation. Moderate and severe only needed a physiotherapy intervention. As such, we have been insisted by the hospital policies to do. But actually, that is not a correct method. The moderate to severe, what happens is the difference is the saturation, oxygen saturation is getting down on 5th or 6th day. So dangerous curve starts. So the patient is admitting in the hospital for the oxygenation. So the oxygenation support is getting up, as well as with the addition of the medicines, what they are giving. So 7th, 8th, and 9th day, this oxygenations revive, the patient will be settled back and come back to normal. Once it is not settled down, the hypoxemia will be increased more and more. Cytokine showering will be there in the severe stage. So severe, which becomes after the showering, SpO2 drop becomes more and the inflammatory process becomes more. So started to become a cytokine storm. So this is the critical stage. So the moderate, severe, and critical. So in which stage physiotherapy is really needed here? It is a 14-day disease program. Are you hearing? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Audible. Yes, sir. Okay. So where the physiotherapy is coming here? It is totally the pathology is of 14 days. So cytokine storm is forming. The patient is going deteriorated and causing death, or otherwise the patient is improving with artificial machines like as per the needs, oxygenation, oxygen concentrator, or high flow nasal oxygen therapy, or CPAP, or ventilator, or mechanical ventilation, or non-invasive. So this is the procedure. So where physiotherapy is coming? Because from the start, from the first wave and second wave, I have noticed very minimal productive secretions are present in the COVID patients. So when compared to COPD patients, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease like asthmatic or bronchiectasis or tuberculosis, whatever the pulmonary disease may be, we had more productive secretions. Here, productive secretions are very, very limited. Now, current Cochrane systematic review also revealed that it is only 20 to 30% of the productive secretions are there. So, very, very limited. And our role is also very limited. Fact that evidence-based change. Next slide. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Vinita? No.
So this is the evidence-based article from Journal of Respiratory Physiotherapy in critical illness. So which is patient who is lying in the bed with ventilator or a mechanical ventilator or non-invasive for a long time. So what will happen? Intensive care acquired weakness happens for the patient, say for above 15 days. They may develop 30 to 40 or 50% muscle weakness, both upper as well as lower limb muscle weakness, and respiratory accessory muscle weakness. Patient produces exudate productions in the lower lobes, not able to cough out by active methods. So there only physiotherapy role is coming. So they need a passive approaches. We have to give chest percussions, our breathing exercises, and clapping, all the things to bring out the secretions. So this is on the final stage. So this is the evidence. So not in the early stages. So unstable and acute phases, physiotherapy lack of evidence. So that is the proven thing in the systematic review. Next slide. So safety and efficiency of chest physiotherapy in patient with COVID-19, a critical review, Journal of Frontiers in Medicine. This is also 2020. So safety. So what will happen if you say, for example, if the hospital policy is like that, we have to go inside the wards and giving our chest physiotherapy like segmental expansion exercise, a diaphragmatic breathing exercise, as well as your clapping, percussions, or pursed lip breathing, all those things. There may be aerosol generation. Even though we are going with the full PPE kit with face shield and everything, possibilities of aerosol generations are more. High risk will be there in the COVID-19 patients. So we need a negative air pressure room, fully, completely covered with shoes of fluid air pressures, with complete gowns. This is not given in the Indian context at present. So this is the situation that lot of risks are there for the physiotherapist is concerned, not like other professions. So if we go and approach them directly, there may be chances of getting a risk of infection. So we should be much trained and much careful to avoid the potential risks. That is very important. So this is the second important evidence I just wanted to indicate for you people going to the COVID ICUs. Next one, please. Evidence on efficiency of chest physiotherapy in COVID-19 during mechanical ventilation. So what are all the things that we can give? Say, for example, if the patient is in intensive care, acquired weakness, long-term illness. I already told 50 to 60% of the muscle weakness, respiratory weakness, everything will be there, not able to produce a cough, active cough to bring out the secretions. For that particular patient, we can give head elevation, early mobilization of both upper as well as lower limbs, and how to huff and cough out. These techniques which we can be given. But even though that is also having a lack of evidence. So still the evidence is not yet proved. Head elevations in long sitting and if it is needed, and suctioning also can be done.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
It is for the long-term bedroom and efficiency of chest physiotherapy in COVID-19. So here we can see that long-term illness patients, only we can give some sort of early mobilization treatments. So like limb physiotherapy, breathing exercises, incentive spirometry. If pneumonia, like illness, secretions, chest physiotherapy like manual. Very important thing, the first thing I mentioned here, during the patient is in mechanical ventilation, head elevation with early mobilization of both upper and lower limbs, and teach huff and cough techniques. All these are still in lack of evidence, and we are in more risk. But this is the right stage to give. So what we have been seen on the early stage of giving a mobilization for long intensive care, acquired weakness patients, we can give the team doctors to give a little bit earlier. That is a great thing that we are doing in COVID-19 period. That is the only thing I have been noticed, that early discharge of the patient, if the indications are proper, if appropriate referrals are proper, we can give an early mobilization for long-term illness cases, then the discharge plan will be quicker. So that is a great thing that we are doing in this COVID-19 patients. This is a great evidence that I wanted to share here. Hello. Next.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Hello.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Please, the next slide, Ponga.
Next slide, please. So early physiotherapy in mechanical ventilation to improve the performance, long-term quality of life. But even though this is also not yet more data, we are not able to getting it, but little bit evidence are there. So early mobilization for the long-term intensive care acquired weakness, otherwise we can call as a post-COVID syndrome. So such type of a patients, we can give graded pacing of limb mobilization exercises like active exercises. If the patient not able to do actively, we can train them passively and make them active assisted, as we know very well how to give a strengthening exercises and diaphragmatic breathing and other exercises and incentive spirometry, gradually coming back to the sitting position and make them graded paces of walking. Not all of a sudden we can give all the patterns of exercises. We should screen them, we can triage them. According to that, we can able to give early mobilization for the long-term illness patients. Next slide, please. So purpose of chest physiotherapy is mainly the mucus clearance, sticky sputum in COPD, but not in COVID-19. So COPD, we used to call in the wards for the chest clearance, airway clearance, and for the secretions, phlegm clearance, we used to call for bronchiectasis or bronchial asthma, or even in the pneumonias and general COPD cases. But not in this viral pneumonia, COVID-19, we can get prevalency or more predominantly the productive secretion. So that is what our role is very, very, very limited. So that I just wanted to emphasize here. ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, leads to hypoxia here. So failure is going, where the dangerous curve starts at 6th, 7th, and 8th day. So it is coming down to the saturation. So automatically 20 to 30%, it is predominant only hypoxemia. So here what our role is only one thing, that we have to give prone ventilation, proning. So proning is having a moderate evidence which is proven. So it is in the medical fraternity which is proven and which gives the wonderful changes in the lungs. And another important thing, while we are entering adequate PP training for the healthcare provider, and I already insisted, negative pressure chambers are very, very important to prevent the contagious, highly infectious second wave, this double mutant variant to our body. So very important that our personal care is very important. So this is the important message I just wanted to share you in this evening. Next slide, please. Neuromuscular mobilization. This is also mainly needed for the long-term ventilator cases. Post-extubation, once the patient regain natural breathing, so they have been exhibit from the ventilator and weaning of the ventilator 50%, and also I already told that ICU acquired weakness need upper and lower limb strengthening exercises with TheraBand. How we can give with TheraBand exercises and respiratory flow meters like incentive spirometry, and even the patient gradually able to sit. Gradually we can improve to standing and graded walking. Finally, the discharge plan, we can give graded pacing of testing like 6 minutes walk test, whether the patient is fit to discharge. These are all things which has been designed and wonderfully implemented in other Western countries, but not in our context. See, these are all the things that present in the literatures. So this should be available in future, because most of the COVID patients are getting a post-COVID pulmonary and other complications. So physiotherapy role is very, very important post-COVID rehabilitation is concerned. Next slide, please. So evidence-based, only one thing that we have to do inside the wards, especially not for all the patients it has been spared, it is only for moderate to severe patients as per the advices of physicians. This is called a CAR protocol. We all very much know, lot of WhatsApp and Facebook universities shared this, called as a proning, self-proning, proning ventilation, like different types of videos are coming nowadays. So which patients it really needs? For example, if the patient is in home quarantine, they are having 94, but not getting 98 SpO2, respiratory rate 20. So we can try this thing as a self-proning technique for the patient in tele-rehabilitation through telephone, video chatting, how to do it, left side as well as right side lying and prone lying and Fowler's position, all this step by step we can give. But government as well as the WHO guidelines advise for the moderate to severe patients like below 90, 85, 75 like SpO2, the doctors, I mean physicians who are working in the ICU, they are having certain indications. In that particular indications, if the patient is there, really they need a help for proning. Now, previously it was in COVID awake repositioning protocol. Now it has become a self-proning. So self-proning become an active program. Previously it was a passive program. Totally flip out the patient with 4 persons. A team of people like doctors, staff nurses, physios and workers have to turn the patient gradually to the left side or right side and gradually to the prone position. And the SpO2 level, gradually it will be hiked. We doesn't need 98 SpO2 all of a sudden. At least we can maintain 90 SpO2 if we can turn to the particular CAR protocol position. So Government of India, Ministry of Health guidelines is 30 minutes to 2 hours for each position. But it is impossible for the patient who is in oxygen concentrator or CPAP or HFNO or in the ventilators. It's very difficult. So as per their convenience, we can place pillows in the, for example, prone lying, one in the head, another in the abdomen with the thighs and another in the shin of the tibia. Like we can give a comfort positions and for lateral lying also and for Fowler's position. So this is the important moderate evidence which has been proven a physiotherapist can be given under the supervision of team of the doctors. Next slide, please. So indications, as I have been told, which are all the patients that we can be indicated to go inside chest physio. Ventilations, forced inspiration oxygen 0.6, which is greater, and SpO2, which is less than 90. So the CT proves the lung consolidation, so opacity of the lungs. So this is the absolute indication for the patient to be given a chest physio, not for all the cases. And contraindication, lower level of oxygen required. Say, for example, 5 liters per minute O2 concentration, and it is less than 90% of SpO2, we should not give. So only it should be recommended by the physicians. That is an important indication to give a chest physiotherapy is concerned. Next. Chest physiotherapy in after discharge. Say, for example, indications, blood oxygen, SpO2 greater than 95, forced expiratory volume 70%. The contraindications is concerned. So fatigue, even at rest, some sort of dyspnea, breathing difficulty, severe recurrent cough, which are more predominant in COVID patients. Even after the discharge, more patients is having recurrent cough for 2 or 3 months, and heart disease or chest pain or some sort of dizziness, fever or unstable gait. Physiotherapy is not indicated at all. So physiotherapy, which can be indicated only for proning and early mobilization for long-term COVID illness patients. Unless or otherwise, It is highly indicated for post-COVID pulmonary and general rehabilitation methods. Very, very important. This is the proven thing until now. In future, it may be changed. Next slide, please. So conclusion, I am just concluding the slide. Chest physios may prove respiratory functions and quality of life in COVID-19 after discharge, post-COVID. In acute stages, evidence is still lacking. So it may be due to physicians' recommendations and also hospital policies. Most of the hospitals are recommending chest physio, proning. This is called as an anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal evidence means there are a lot of WhatsApp, Facebooks, videos, messages, giving clapping, beating, all those things, which has been viewed by the lot of peoples. And because of the anecdotal evidence, we have been insisted to give this type of a diaphragmatic breathing, pursed lip breathing, or a segmental expansion. But one thing I just wanted to say, this does not provide any important drastic change for the COVID-19 patients. As well as we can see, there is no harmful effects also. So hospital policies is like that. We have to give for the patient. But important thing we have to notice, if you patient is having more respiratory rate, 30 above, already they are dyspneic with respiratory distress, don't disturb them. Give them only relaxation methods. We know very well how to relax the patient, comfortably position the pillows and make them breathe normally. Next, post-discharge physiotherapy safety measures also for the long-term complications. A patient who have been discharged and settled in home. So if they approach through a telephone or consultations, in foreign countries, they are giving a community rehabilitations, going home visits and giving physiotherapy like breathing test and graded ambulation, all those things which has been given. Because post-COVID complications are very, very essential. I have been noticed so far many patients who have been have proven more fatality and mortality in post-COVID also. Sudden cardiac arrest, because patient does not know how to exert after the post-COVID discharge. After 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they will start regular walking, regular cycling or jogging. Suddenly they will get cardiac arrest. So what will happen? This is the 14 days disease program. So lungs will get fibrosed. So almost whole the lungs will become wounded. So it becomes fibrosed and scar tissues formation. So it will take minimum 3 months to get healed. So after that only they have to go for the normal pattern of aerobic workouts and other things. Some of the patients will have panic attacks, anxiety, depression. So definitely post-COVID patients need physiotherapy intervention, psychiatric intervention, psychologist intervention under the guidance of physician. Next.
1 minute, sir.
Next, one more picture I have sent.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this picture. This is a wonderful picture. You might all have been noticed, or some of you peoples. This is the basic moderate for see this picture, the upper part, two colors. Simply, I just wanted to, the pink color noticed as a ventral lung, which is having good blood supply and oxygenation. The purple color, a dorsal lung, which is already in collapse status. Atelectasis have been formed in supine position. So see in the another picture also, the ventral part becomes over distended. You can see a balloon-like structure in the ventral part. In the dorsal part, it has been become completely diminished, collapsed. The lung become collapsed. So this is the status for the COVID patient is concerned. So it is decreased in the anterior supine position. So while we are advising for the patient can able to do active proning or passive proning, the proning which gives what is the changes in the down figure, you can notice how the pink color which has been changed, pink color which becomes a 75%. So the dorsal lung becomes elongated. So get more oxygenation. So the lungs becomes good blood supply and oxygenation. And purple color is very diminished in the ventral side of the lung. So in the other picture, prone lying, so dorsal alveoli, which becomes completely decreased, and ventral alveoli already, which has been becomes over distended, become compressed. So this proves that the SpO2 level which has been increased because the prone ventilation which increases the transpleural pressure and recruits the alveolar units and reduces the atelectasis, lung collapse. This has been proved physiologically. So no doubt about it. So prone ventilation is the only evidence which can be given for the patient with COVID as per the advice. I have been already told the indications, FiO2, how the SpO2 level, all those things. In that indication, the patient is there, advice or referral by the physician, we can give prone ventilation is a wonderful thing which enhances the SpO2. But we cannot save the life with prone ventilation. We can increase the SpO2 along with the artificial machines, medicines, and other reassurance patient may get improved. So we can reduce the fatality rate. So not like that young physios nowadays seeing the higher officials that we can give chest physios and proning positions to reduce the oxygen concentrator thing, all those things. That is not possible. So only the patient is indicated because this disease pathology we know already very well. So indicated patients, if we can give, definitely we can reduce the